All right, you YouTube nerds. Today we're going to be looking at a demo and kind of an overall review of the EVH 5150 Stealth 50 watt. Now, I'm doing this video mainly because of all the videos I've seen, with the exception of a few, I've noticed that a lot of them appear to be more, they're almost like a pushy sales video. And I got kind of tired of watching it. And I've been going over going over different amps, different my take on different models of each amp, just like kind of like how I did the 5150 Iconic, which I did not end up buying, even though I had a chance to buy it at a discount. The main reason was I felt that although the Iconic was a great amp, especially for the price, it really is, and in the feature set, with a built-in noise gate that silences that preamp, reverb that sounded really good. I felt like it was a little harsh in some areas, especially with on the mid-high end, frequency-wise. So I ended up not buying it, and but I still have massive respect for it. It's still a great amp, especially for people who are just getting into maybe starting to maybe play out with a band for the first time. It's a great quick option without having to blow over $1,000. So anyway, with that being said, I actually have this one on loan from a local store. I actually have a chance to buy this. This one actually is used. Or actually, it's in the store. It was in the store as used. I have a chance to buy this for, I don't know, $1,000, maybe just under, about the same price as Iconic, that you would find new. So anyway, I figured this would be a good time to kind of check it out, go through all the feature set. I don't know how old this one is exactly. My guess is anywhere between 1 to 2 years old. It has I think it's the Shugwan, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Shugwan power tubes in it. And I don't know, I'm assuming they're all JJ preamp tubes, but I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, right now I have this dialed up. I actually was playing with this a little earlier, and I kind of dialed the settings in at least close to where I want it. I only did it, I was only playing through it for about 5 minutes. Just like many other demos, I'm going to start on a clean channel. For those of you who've seen my video review on the EVH LBX2, on the clean channel, it's kind of the same concept. If you have the volume cranked, or at least maybe not necessarily cranked, but probably about halfway up, and you use the gain control as your volume, you're going to get a much better clean tone. So we're going to do the same thing here. And we are in drop C. Bridge pickup. Middle position. Now let's do the same thing on the clean channel. However, instead of doing exactly what I told you to do, we're gonna put the gain to about just under half, 4 out of 10, and we'll see if that is. We'll see if it stays just as clean. So it's not bad. You actually get, there's a certain tone that changes when you use the gain control as your volume, as opposed to the way we have it set up right now, where I have the gain up to about 4 out of 10, and then when I use the volume, it's very subtle, but there's definitely a slight tonal difference where I feel like right now we're almost in like Marshall clean territory, versus if you use the gain control as the volume, that's where you get that Fendery clean tone. All right, so like I said, quick demo, quick review, quick demo on the clean channel. Let's go to the crunch channel. Okay, before I start, the blue channel is a crunch channel. A lot of people, I've heard people talk about the blue channel being very similar to the red channel on the Stealth. It's really not. It's really not. If anything, it's definitely got a good amount of gain, but I feel like it's not quite. It doesn't get you to that modern molten metal area. Not quite. With a boost, yeah. Without a boost, nah. All right. The good thing, the one thing I do like about the blue channel though, for sure, is that there is not a ton of static. There's not a ton of white noise coming from the preamp, which tells me that at most there's probably, and I'm just guessing here. I'm not going to cheat by going to the paperwork right now. But my guess is probably 2, maybe 3 preamp tubes are being ran through the blue channel. All right, so yeah, this is my EQ. Okay, great. Gain's at about 6 out of 10. So one thing you do need to know about the blue channel is that it relies more on power tube saturation compared to what the red channel relies on. And I think part of that is, like I said, it doesn't run, when you're using the blue channel, it doesn't run through all preamp tubes. It's not utilizing all of them. You're using maybe 3. That's what I would say if I were to guess. 3, maybe 4. Maybe 4, but definitely not all 7, or 6, I should say. Because one's the phase inverter, effects loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dime the gain first and leave the volume alone, and then I'm going to back down the gain back to about 6 or 7 and then crank the volume up. And hopefully it doesn't overload the phone mic, but we'll see. All right. So gain's on max. It's almost there. Like I said, it does rely on power tube saturation. So if you're one of those people that prefer the crunch style channel and you're playing, in a bedroom, in a living room, keep that in mind. You're going to have to crank it pretty loud to get to that full saturation of what the blue channel is capable of. So just something to keep in mind. So now I'm going to back down the gain a little bit, but I'm going to crank the volume. Hopefully it doesn't get too loud for the phone mic. Actually, I'm going to back the gain down to about 3 and just go from there. Okay, now I can turn the gain up a little bit. wasn't getting full power tube saturation. I was almost there, where it was just, they were starting to open up, but not quite. So again, that's one of those things where if you're going to use a blue channel, and you like that crunch setting without that full high gain saturation from the red channel, you're going to have to crank it, or use a boost. You know, using a boost still helps. It's kind of like the same thing with the LBX2 with the blue channel. It's actually very similar to this, but as far as like feel wise and having that oomph, the LBX can't even come close to this, mainly because you're getting 6L6 power tubes in it. All right, so let's go over the red channel. So here in the red channel, you're going to hear a lot more white noise because you're utilizing all the preamp tubes. I have the gain at 4 right now on the red. All right. And, ooh, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not even, man, I think I was at a half on the volume. So let's see if we can get that guitar a little further away. I'm not even on the 1. Alright, so you hear a lot more of that white noise because you're utilizing all the preamp tubes that are possible. Gain is at 4. We're still, this is another one of those amps, just like many other tube amps. You know, the louder you crank it, the better it's going to sound every time. So anyway, let's leave the gain. You know what? I'm actually going to back down the gain. I'm going to back down the gain to, what am I on? 2? What's that? 2? 1, 2? Yeah. All right. Gain's at 2. But now we're still not quite in that fully saturated tone yet. We're pretty much there with that full saturation, that almost liquid metal feel. So if we go up to 4, that's when we start getting into that full-blown preamp tube saturation. Oh yeah. pushing the game to about 6. Keep in mind, I'm only on 1 out of 10 on the volume for the red channel, third channel. So keep in mind is that the louder you crank this, you know what, hold on. Keep in mind, the louder you crank it, the more you're going to actually have to turn down the gain because you're going to be utilizing that power tube saturation. So aside from that, you know, the biggest difference between the Stealth and the regular 5153 6L6 is the fact that, well, obviously the looks, but beside the looks, they also put the Shugwan power tubes instead of the JJs or the TAD red base, which there's nothing wrong with the TAD red base. Those are great power tubes. But something to keep in mind is that they're actually traditionally more expensive than JJs or the red base. The other major difference between the Stealth and the traditional 6L6 is the fact that you can actually bias it from the rear. The bias panel in the back is kind of strange because there's only one port, or let me make sure I say this. There's the spot for the common probe, and then the spot for the actual voltage reading, and it's only one, so you can't bias each tube individually. It's actually as a pair, which to me is kind of strange because, you know, if you look at amps like the PRS MT15 or the PRS Archon, you know, you can actually bias into each individual tube from the rear panel, which I would have actually preferred on this, especially being a high gain tube amp, as opposed to something like, you know, a Fender or a Marshall. So anyway, that was one of the selling points for me, because I actually ordered a brand new one of these and I'm waiting for it to get delivered. In the meantime, you know, I have this to kind of go off of. So I don't know what kind of changes we're going to see with the brand new one that I have coming. Will it still be Shugwan? I hope I'm saying that the right way. Will it still be Shugwan power tubes? I hope. But you know what? If they're the TAD red base power tubes, I won't complain because those are great tubes. You know, are they all going to be JJ preamp tubes? That's another thought. So I think what I'll do is when I get the new one delivered, I'm actually going to make a video where I take off the plate and I go through each tube and I show you guys, you know, have they changed anything? Is it going to be, are they going to be Electro Harmonics tubes? Is there going to be, you know, a no brand Chinese tube? So it's going to be interesting. So look forward to that video. If you guys have any questions, any comments, maybe there's something I missed out about this thing that I don't even know about yet, let me know. Let me know. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.